Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning into my YouTube channel. This is Nikhil Parekh. In this video, I shall be giving you a recitation of my poem that is with title Immortal Soldiers, Part 1. This poem of mine has been published in my book that is the title Love vs. Terrorism, Volume 1. Therefore, without wasting a further instant, wanted to ardently commence upon with the recitation of my poem Immortal Soldiers, Part 1. They ran on frozen ice, draping their bodies in threadbare minimum of inexpensive cloth. They ran on frozen ice, draping their bodies in threadbare minimum of inexpensive cloth. Took their positions scrupulously behind incoherent lumps, aiming dead straight with their missiles. They hardly paid attention to food, surviving on parsimonious amounts of water compounded with intermittent meals. Swirled their eyes rampantly in all directions, trying to track the slightest of movement, the most inconspicuous of sound. They didn't budge an inch at the sound of bullet firing, instead retorted back with indiscriminate gunfire of their own, belligerently attacking with their grenades and tanks, trying vehemently to push back the infiltrators. They used their fists honorously to dig furrows in the snow, sequestering themselves from the opposite camp, used every trick in their armory to entice the intruders. Before mercilessly assassinating them, they constructed their camps in the inclement cold, dexterously spreading the heaps of canvas they had honorously carried on their shoulder. Listened diligently to crisp voices emanating from their walkie-talkies, endeavoring to adhere to every command of their seniors, as stringently as possible. They were quite accustomed to the obstreperous noise echoing far and distant throughout the valley, as it was an indispensable part of their lives. Incessantly chalked plans to capture their adversaries with surprise, without giving them the tiniest of insinuation. Without giving them the tiniest of insinuation. They hardly talked about their miseries, the streams of blood trickling down their bare palms, the streams of blood trickling down their bare palms. Instead, courageously pepped up each other, envisaging the sweetness of victory, applying cold water to their wounds as an antiseptic medicine. They audaciously struck swords. They audaciously struck their swords into their opponent's chest, remaining unperturbed by the tyrannical gasps of profound anguish, remaining unperturbed by the tyrannical gasps of profound anguish. Took several soldiers at a time, still remaining invincibly triumphant in the end. They remembered their families on occasions of time. Nostalgically reviving the blissful moments they had spent back home. However, phlegmatically shrugged such thoughts away when they saw them interfering with the safety of their nation. They were unrelentingly fighting to save their nation at prime cost of sacrificing their lives, ensuring that a majority of their population ensuring that a majority of their population rested cozily in their homes. I considered myself I considered myself nowhere near the most obscure fractions of their shadows, as I was dying every moment to save my cowardly life, while they lived for centuries unprecedented even after death, as they had deservedly earned the proud status of being immortal soldiers. I considered myself nowhere near the most obscure fraction of their shadows. I considered myself nowhere near the most obscure fraction of their shadows, as I was dying every moment to save my cowardly life, while they lived for centuries unprecedented even after death, as they had deservedly earned the proud status of being immortal soldiers. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to me. From the innermost realm of my heart, wanted to thank you for the victoriously brilliant patronization to the poetry.